Have you ever wondered, what if the Philippines had actually succeeded in becoming a stable republic as early as 1899? Before many Asian nations even imagined independence, the Philippines already had a functioning constitutional republic, complete with a legislature, executive, and civil rights protections. Today, we're diving into the Philippine Revolution, the first Philippine Republic, and the Malolos Constitution. And more importantly, how these shaped modern diplomacy, governance, and international relations. To understand the revolution, we need to understand the pressure building underneath. For over 300 years of Spanish colonization, Filipinos experienced forced labor, o polo y servicios, heavy taxation, political exclusions, abuse by friars. This gave rise to two movements: the reformist, who wants peaceful change, and revolutionaries, who wants armed struggle. One key turning point. In 1892, Andres Bonifacio founded the Katipunan, a secret society aiming for independence. Then, in August 1896, the revolution officially began after the Katipunan was discovered. The revolution wasn't just Filipinos versus Spain. It also had internal conflict, leadership struggle between factions, the rise of Emilio Aguinaldo in Cavite, and the decline of Bonifacio's authority. This tension led to a tragic moment. Bonifacio was executed in 1897, marking a shift in leadership. Now, here's a critical diplomatic moment. On December 14, 1897, the Pact of Biak na Bato was signed. What happened? Revolutionaries agreed to stop fighting. Spain promised reforms and amnesty. Aguinaldo and leaders went into exile in Hong Kong, and Spain paid 800,000 pesos of indemnity. Why this matters? This is essentially a temporary ceasefire agreement, a proto-diplomatic negotiation, an example of conflict de-escalation, but with weak enforcement. Spain failed to deliver reforms. Result? The revolution didn't end. It paused. Now things get international. In 1898, the Spanish-American War broke out. May 1 of 1898 was the Battle of Manila Bay. US defeats Spain decisively. This is where geopolitics enters. The Philippines becomes a strategic bargaining chip. Aguinaldo returns from exile with US support. On June 12, 1898, independence was declared in Kawit, Cavite. Aguinaldo becomes head of a revolutionary government, and Philippines asserts sovereignty. But here's the twist. Spain loses to the US, not to the Philippines. This leads to a major diplomatic issue. Filipinos declared independence, but the US did not recognize it. To legitimize the new nation, leaders convened the Malolos Congress in September 1898. The key figures: Apolinario Mabini, the brains of the revolution, Felipe Calderon, and Pedro Paterno. The Malolos Constitution was adopted on January 21, 1899. Why is this important? It was the first republican constitution in Asia. The structure of that government: executive, President Emilio Aguinaldo; legislative, unicameral Congress; judiciary, independent courts. What are the core principles? Popular sovereignty. Power comes from people. Separation of powers. Civil liberties, which are freedom of speech, religion, and equality before the law. The Malolos Constitution reflects two major political ideologies: liberalism, focusing on rights, freedoms, and equality, and republicanism, focus on no monarchy and people rule. So the Philippines in 1899 was both liberal and republican. To connect this with modern politics, if left-wing wants change and equality, and right-wing is tradition and order, And when liberals is freedom focus, conservative is stability focus, and in UX context, Democrats are more to the left and Republicans are more to the right. But be careful, because Republican ideology is not similar as the Republican Party in the US. Going back, in 1899, Philippines was both liberal and Republican, freedom focused and more to the right wing. Just weeks after the Constitution, on February 4, 1899, the Philippine-American War began. What happened? US refused to recognize Philippine independence. War broke out. Aguinaldo captured in 1901. The First Republic collapsed. Now this is where it becomes an FSOE gold. Early Asian constitutionalism. The Philippines was ahead of its time. This is comparable to Western liberal democracies. However, there's a failure of recognition. There's no international recognition, which means weak sovereignty. It also shows importance of diplomatic legitimacy. Power politics. Realism. Despite ideals, the US acted on strategic interest. Example is the great power dominance and unequal treaties. Now, the foundation of modern Philippine governance. The Malolos Constitution influenced the 1935 Constitution and the 1987 Constitution. What can be the lessons for foreign affairs? A diplomat must understand that revolution needs international support. Legitimacy is not synonymous to just declaration. And agreements like Biak na Bato require enforcement mechanisms. Geopolitics can override sovereignty. Now here's the master timeline. Just remember, 1892, Katipunan founded. 1896, revolution begins. 1897, of December 14, Pact of Biak na Bato. 1898, May 1, the Battle of Manila Bay. 1898, June 12, the Declaration of Independence. 1898, September, the Malolos Congress. 1899, January 21, the Malolos Constitution. And 1899, February 4, the Philippine-American War. The First Philippine Republic was short-lived, but it was never insignificant. It proved that Filipinos were ready for self-governance. Asia could produce constitutional democracies, and most importantly, freedom without recognition is fragile. For future diplomats, the lesson is clear. Victory is not just won on the battlefield. It is secured in negotiations, alliances, and international legitimacy. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next deep dive as we discuss the American period of the Philippine-American War, public education, and democratic institutions.